Hi, Zizaran here with another video, and this is going to be about Sanctum. It is back in the game, marking the return of one of the most profitable league mechanics in the game, and my personal favorite league mechanic of all time, but with some major differences and a difficulty increase. In this video, we're going to go over the differences between old Sanctum, and we're going to give you how to prepare for Sanctum, how to get Sanctum, and just how to run them, and how to make your runs better in general. So Forbidden Tomes go for like a few chaos and softcore surprisingly. First I thought people were price fixing, but they're actually very cheap, and you can get like low level sanctums and high level sanctums, and you can also buy other people's unfinished sanctums that they weren't comfortable to run. Even if you're not super good at this and you can only do the first floor or two, it'll be very profitable for you when you're buying it that cheap. And if you're able to do all the way to Lycia at the end, she will drop a unique relic which will give you special rewards. For example, it can say, will drop Eternal Damnation, will drop Sandstorm Massage, or will drop 1 or 2 additional tomes. So if you're running 83, you'll just get 2 more. I will also, in addition to this video, be uploading just a full run that I do, and I'll do commentary. And that'll be really nice now because I can do the entire run in one sitting. You don't have to find multiple sanctums anymore and run 12 rooms at a time. You can run the entire run. So I'll upload that as a separate video because obviously that's going to be quite long running an entire sanctum. And I'll do it similar to the Everything Explained, where I'll explain my thought process and everything I'm doing. Before you start with Sanctum, you gotta realize that mobility is the end-all be-all here. People will always say like things like skill issue and stuff, but it is a very difficult league. So if you're not a very good player, you really want to set yourself up in the best way you can. Like for example, Explosive Arrow is really good. Summon Raging Spirits is very good because you barely have to like focus on attacking, right? My totems are attacking for me on Explosive Arrow, my minions are attacking for me on Summon Raging Spirits, and if you're playing something like Bone Shatter or a melee skill, you need to be really good at the game and a mobility and just being able to see when the monsters are attacking you so that you avoid losing Resolve, which will result in you losing the run. Chill is incredibly strong in Sanctum, so I recommend that nearly every build, at least if you don't have Chill, I recommend that you run Skitterbots, and if you can fit it, put in an Unbound Ailments with your Skitterbots to increase the Chill effect. Whenever I'm running this on my Explosive Arrow, I switch away from Grace and Determination and I put on Malevolence and Skitterbots because damage is the end-all be-all, and your things like your armor and evasion don't matter at all in Sanctum. But wait, Zizaran, didn't they make that matter now? Yeah, but if it's between me taking less resolve damage or potentially not taking any versus me just dodging the projectiles entirely and instead one-shotting the enemy, I'm gonna go with that. Another thing that can be really good, like if you have a way to automate your damage, even at a damage loss, like for example, if you're playing a totem build that is using Focus Ballista, maybe remove it for Sanctum. And again, melee builds and especially Righteous Fire are really fucked in this mechanic. Here's a good example of why.
Oh dear God.
So there you can see like the meteor room here is just absolutely messed up because with Righteous Fire you're like so glowy and red that you're not going to see the ground as much. This is definitely harder for melee or RF than it is for something like Explosive Arrow, and it's actually quite stressful even on Explosive Arrow. Now, a big rule of thumb here is no backtracking. I generally will always run in circles, and I very rarely, if ever, will ever backtrack unless I really have to. There are some rooms where I will have to run in like a square or like, you know, do some sort of pseudo backtracking, but I'm very careful to not like run over here and then back there, because sometimes a monster will start attacking when I'm here, and if I run back there, then the projectile or whatever might hit me. A thing that is extremely nice for Sanctum and mobility, and that I really like, it does have downsides, is the Summon Spirit of Ikiaho. And its buff grants 100% increased cooldown recovery of travel skills, and this happens when you use a movement skill near a unique enemy. Well, nearly everything in Sanctum is a unique enemy, so you proc it instantaneously. So this is really good. And there's a downside to this. It has an 80-second cooldown, but it lasts for 12 seconds, which I'm running through Sanctum. So the exit ones, I take less than 12 seconds anyway. So my Flame Dash and stuff, it feels like old Flame Dash. And my Blink Arrow is just like plop. I like using both because they don't share cooldown and I really want to be super mobile. And since each Sanctum is its own thing, that 80-second cooldown resets every Sanctum. So I basically have pseudo-permanent 100% cooldown recovery of travel skills. Feels really, really nice. I've been enjoying it a lot. And it's especially good because I have a low level flame dash and I won't be able to have a high one. I'm also tattooing a lot of int nodes away. The other downside of this is the flashbang. It's a very, very visually intrusive skill that looks awful. I have like mentioned it to GG, so we'll see. Maybe that's something they'll change. So a lot of the monsters are pretty weak to being teleported through too. So I'll sort of be like running at them at a bit of an angle, flame dashing through them when I see their attack is coming. You can also stand behind walls and use things like summon raging spirits. You can't off screen as much as before. That has been nerfed, but you do have the ability to stand behind walls. With that being said, the debuffs you choose are very, very important. Like if you have chosen the volatile things, then standing behind walls can be quite scary because they will chase you. So we're going to make a spreadsheet, as you can see here, which is going to be like what rooms are bad, what to skip. Like for example, Infernum, always really rippy. And there's so many that are like, you know, the media rooms, etc. We'll make a full list of that for you so you can help keep track of that. And there are some you just want to not be in. Now, there are some afflictions that I always stay away from. Like for example, the minions can't be slowed and are 30% faster. This is a run ender for a lot of people because you're already using something like skitterbots, etc., right? And chilling them, but then it's like 50% faster and it really throws off you anticipating all the moves. The best major boon you could get is the map is fully revealed. So once you get really confident, I quite often sacrifice my max resolve to get major boons because very, very often on, I think it's like item level 78 or 83 at least, you are getting 1 or 2 divines every single run somewhere, but you might not always run into that, right? But then when you're able to see the entire run, then it's very likely you're going to get divines. And generally the rule is if it's in the last slot, like defer all the way to the end, it'll be 2 divines, 2 exalted, 2 annuls, 2 sacred orbs, etc. And if it's in the middle one, it'll be 1. You'll never get like, give me a divine orb now. Let's talk just a little bit about the changes specifically. So some new rooms were introduced as well as changes to existing rooms. There's like new laser beams on the ground that are different from the red lasers before, and these will slow you as well as eat your resolve fairly quickly. There's the meteor rooms. These are really fucky. The meteor will sort of grow and expand until it hits the ground, and you can kind of get used to it, but yeah, definitely a tough one. And there are rare monsters as well now, and it really, really sucks when you get like ignite and fire rate damage immune. Like that's awful, and some of them can be really bad. I had some sort of like lich monster that just took forever to kill, and yeah, the rare monsters are very often scarier than the guards. I think the rares can be taunted, so that's different than the uniques. I'm not 100% sure on this. And you have to kill all the rare and the unique monsters in every room unless it says find the exit. And the find the exit rooms has been changed now. Instead of the location always being in the same area, each exit room except 2, I think, or maybe 1, has 3 different exits in the same layout. So every Sanctum you do, you can actually fight both stages of Lycia. And this is really good because once you're fighting the second stage of Lycia, what happens is she will drop a relic that will tell you what you're going to drop. Like, for example, I got the one that gives you Eternal Damnation. It was a very hard run, and on hardcore, that's probably going to sell for a shit ton. I don't know whether it's going to be like 40 to 70 divines or 10 to 30, but it'll be really, really good because there's so few on softcore, and even on softcore, it's 15 to 20, and they're insta-selling. So I'm just waiting for people to get some currency, and I've got some decent drops. I also got a Sandstorm Massage, which will hopefully be a decent amount of currency. It also depends how many people are going to be doing Sanctum. But at the end of the day, Sanctum is entirely insanely rewarding all on its own. So I hope this video of tips and tricks helps you. Do remember I will be uploading a full run through video alongside at some point later today. So hopefully you guys like these videos. Thank you so much for all the support. Sub if you like the video, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.